What's going on, guys? We'll be starting here in a few minutes. Getting everything situated. Alright, let's get started. How's everybody doing? What's going on, guys? Turn this off real fast. Boom, boom. Alright. Looking really good on our shorts. Bitcoin did exactly what we thought it would. Ethereum also coming down here. The altcoins are trying to pull back a little bit. Tron failing that pivot. How'd the stock market do today? I didn't really pay attention to the stock market today. SPY's over 300. SPY hit an all-time high, I think, right there, didn't it? I think that's an all-time high. Yeah. 302.46. New all-time high on the SPY. Not bad. Not bad at all. The Q's is putting in a lower high. The Dow is putting in a lower high. What's going on, Sneaky? Looks like Veritone pulled back down towards the lower range here. I might pick up some more shares here. Play the support bounce off the accumulation. Very low sell volume, so nothing too crazy. Yeah, it looks like it's curling. Definitely losing sell pressure for sure. Momo is trying to pinch downward, so you do have... Jesus, my throat is killing me. Be right back, guys. Let me get some water. Alright, I'm back. See if that helps. My throat's always dry as hell when I come back from the gym. Looks like Zuo is pulling back a little bit here. We start to bounce off the baseline. We could definitely look to pick up some more shares. Veritone also looks pretty decent. Disney having a strong reversal here. Back above your baseline conversion line, back above the trail. You're green on the OTS. Back above your VWAP. Looking good on the Momo. Yeah, Disney doesn't look bad. Put in a higher low support. Bouncing off of it. Glue is still pumping. MGM failed that level. Starbucks getting hammered here. Could look like a decent short if we can close below this 72. You tried to form a pivot here on this doji and got destroyed. Uber's reversing downward. Carnival's still looking really good. You follow Activision? I've been looking at it every now and then, yeah. We, Sticky and JMA both had really good trades on Activision. I think either, it was this month, I believe. JMA made like 100% on Activision. Man, my throat's feeling rough. This video is gonna be hard to make. I'm holding along until quarterly pop from the WoW Classic release. Yeah, that's true. Massive release on World of Warcraft Classic could definitely pump their earnings. If you guys have been keeping up with the streams, Bitcoin did exactly what we planned. You had that falling wedge, popped out of the falling wedge, hit this resistance up here, and then failed downward. You had the break of the uptrend, lower high, and now we're into a downtrend. So, looking really good. No, I haven't closed my short yet. Looking to hold on to it. Looks really good. Putting in lower highs. We had a perfect swing failure pattern here. You had the previous high, you have that pivot, you swung above it and then could not close with strength. Basically rejected the cloud, rejected the pivot, rejected the high. Looks really good for a short. You could see another bounce here. Very likely, if it bounces, that you're going to find resistance around this doji system, around 10.3. So if it bounces and starts to fail around 10.3, I'll probably look to add on to my short. We shall see. You do have a Kumo twist incoming, bullish. You are bullish on the Ichimoku, except for the cloud, basically. Yeah, not looking too bad. I think the shorts look really good here. I wouldn't short it where it is now, if you're not already in a short. But if you are in a short, looking really good. Bitcoin punishes late shorters and late longers? Exactly. Yeah, 100%. So if you're not in a short already, I'd be very careful. I'm gonna put in some buys here around like 420 on Veritone. I'm basically just trading the accumulation. If the accumulation fails, then I'm just going to get out of it. There's a lot of accumulation here. Typically when you see a long period of accumulation like this, you have a good chance to pop to like the previous range or like the gap. So you could see like a 10% pop here. But obviously, it's still a very bearish trend. So you could easily lose the accumulation here and then fail down to like $4. Because you can see how bearish this is. It's extremely bearish. So you're trading accumulation is like a higher strike rate knife catch. You're still trying to knife catch. You're trying to catch a dying trend. But it's still very risky. So like if I was being smart about this and I wanted to be very patient and I wasn't trying to knife catch, I would wait for a close, either a white candle, so maybe like a white candle, like a breakout here, or I would wait for a close and a flip of the trail. But I'm not going to be very patient on this one. I'm not throwing too much money at this, just small position size. It's more of a long-term play. Bitcoin's looking really good for our shorts. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin pops up to like the resistance here, but that's still not even that bad. My average entry is 350, I think. It's like 350, 375. I'm not logged in right now, so I can't remember, but it's somewhere around here. So even if we pop back up, it's not bad for me. We're already up about 1.5%, so. Very simple, very easy trades. Alright, I'm not going to talk too much until we get into our TrendSpider video, because my throat's already feeling pretty rough. The end of the week, so my throat's pretty much shot at this point. You guys have any stocks you're looking at? I need to start getting back into the options trading. I've been paying most of my attention to Bitcoin, but I pay most of my attention to whatever makes me money. So Bitcoin's currently making me money. Stocks are not making me too much money. So paying most of my attention to crypto. Looks like we're getting ready to fail the trail here on the what was that, 3 hour. Coming into the 4 hour trail. This 4 hour candle is really healthy. Decent sell volume, good size, no wicks. This is a C-clamp formation if you're an Ichimoku trader, where you have like a flat baseline, and then you have your conversion line kind of going off. Price kind of comes back down to the baseline. We'll probably see this cloud flip back red immediately if we can get through this baseline here. You're getting a trend break here on TrendSpider. Take a look at the... What was this? Experimental? This is the original trends. I like when it finds these flat levels. You got a very nice level here, like 96. Very strong trend. You got a double trend here at about 10k. So if we fail back downward, that's that trend you want to keep an eye on. Let's go to the horizontals. No horizontals here on the daily. Take a look at how our strategy has been running. Doing very well, up 30%, while the market is down 4%. It caught that last major run up. It also caught that run up recently. Very nice. Seems like the majority of the positions are less than 35 candles. Mean change is about 1%. Makes about 0.4% per trade. Damn, the low was 422, so we didn't get filled just yet. The OTS and the Momo and the Ichimoku just tie together so well. It makes the chart a little messy, but it's very helpful. If you guys use the OTS or the Momo, I highly recommend using Ichimoku. Ichimoku is probably one of the best systems to learn for new traders. Teaches you patience, teaches you how to follow trends, teaches you the main price levels in those trends. Very helpful. We are getting ready to approach most of these pivots here on the 15-minute. You can see how we have a ton of pivots on this high. We got a lot of support coming in. Around this range. Let me log into my BitMEX here and see where my average is. I think it's 350, if I remember correctly. Took this trade live on stream yesterday too, so you guys had the opportunity to follow that one. My average is, yep, 10,350. So we're looking pretty good. I was gonna add here, and I was like, you know what? It's a little risky, because I could easily see it going higher. I could have easily seen it get to like 530, 550. So I decided not to add on that high, but I was very close to adding there. I played it safe though. I didn't take that ad. I did add at 375 though, so we basically almost caught the top. But I missed this little bit here, which isn't terrible. Like I was saying earlier, my charts may look like shit. They might be a little confusing, but if it works, it works. It's very simple to me because I've been looking at it for so long. Basically, white is uptrend, black is downtrend, and then everything else is just helping that out. So you have the Ichimoku providing confluence, You have the trail providing confluence. You have the Momo providing confluence. And then you have your pivots giving you nice little targets and entry points. You guys ever have any questions about my system, just feel free to hop in voice chat and Discord and I can give you guys a rundown. I'd really like a full retrace down to this pivot. That would be beautiful. You're currently seeing a little bit of buy pressure come in, not too much though. You had great sell signals here. And you had a nice little buy there. Oh, I currently have it on bodies. Let's go to wicks. You got a lot of trends coming in currently. You guys have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. We're just hanging out a little bit. Not doing too much. Trying not to talk too much today. My throat's pretty destroyed from the past few streams. Stock market has closed. Let me take a look. Did we get filled on Veritone? I don't think we did. No, we did not. 2 cents away. Up about 3.5% on Zuora. Pretty good. Here we go. Bitcoin's fallen again. Approaching new lows. Have a lot of buyers coming in here. Look at these walls. 11 million, 16 million, 13 million, 6 million. We'll see if it's enough to hold price up here. We're currently up about 7.5% of our account. Let me do the math here, I'll tell you exactly. Sorry, I was a little off. We're up about 5.5. 5.5. Oh, they finally have drawing tools here. How do you delete them? Massive sells coming in. Look at this sell pressure. Huge sell pressure. Look at these sells coming in. Massive sells coming in. Red, 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 red. You're not seeing any green. No green coming in. There you go. Now the buyers are starting to come in. Hey, look where it's bouncing. Just where we said it would. Right on these pivots. Right on these pivots. You had basically a perfect touch of this pivot here. This is why we live stream right here, so we can journal our trades, keep track of what we're doing right, keep track of what we're doing wrong. In the past few streams, past few weeks, we've been doing very well. That's why, like I said, I'm like my #1 viewer, because I'll go back and watch my VODs, see what my mindset was before the trade happened, see what my mindset was during the trade, and then see what my mindset was when I was closing the trade. I called this out in Discord, where you had your bearish TK cross on the 15-minute. You have that pullback happening on your OTS, and then once you lost that pivot, you lost that level, it was donezo. You also had that 3-day VWAP failure. Decent buys starting to come in. You do have some support being found. Bouncing right off that trend line that was marked here by TrendSpider. Drop into my hands, baby girl. Yeah, right? The money's flying, man. You just gotta catch it. Finding decent support. You still have a buy wall below you about 20 million. If a sell wall comes in above price, you're going to see a dump. Massive buys coming in there. Look at that buy pressure. Right off of that pivot. Very likely to see a bounce here. You are testing your point of origin. Continuation of downtrend. Could see some consolidation, could see a bounce. Overall, still looks bearish. You gotta watch out for when you have these bull runs, right? And you break that trend. So you have that break of the trend there. And you always want to look for where did that trend really start to take off? So that's what I call point of origin. I talk about this on stream all the time, the point of origin. So the point of origin is here. You have that low that started that massive move up. That is your point of origin. So you also want to look at where is that range that created that point of origin. So you have that local double top here that created that point of origin. So you have that resistance, resistance, pull back to support, and then a break of resistance. So this becomes a massive support because it's your range high. And then this becomes a massive support because it's your point of origin. So overall, if you're a trend trader, for example, when I do my trend trades, if I'm trading a break of trend, which I'm doing now, my overall target is always the point of origin. A full retrace. Until it's invalidated. So it's not going to be invalidated until that trend is broken and we start into a new uptrend. So if we started into like a new uptrend here, this would become the point of origin. So you have the point of origin, and then we break into a new uptrend. So if we did this same exact trade again, and I say I shorted the top, the overall target of your short would be that point of origin. Hopefully that makes sense. Because that is where I make most of my money. I'm giving you guys free alpha, basically. How do we break higher and hold it if we've had so little price action, 11K? Will it likely retrace? Big upside. So like I was talking about on stream a while ago, or basically every stream this week, there is no reason to be bullish here. Everybody who's bullish on Twitter doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Short term, there is nothing bullish about what we're seeing. And that is why I've been shorting for the past few days. For this to break higher, we have to see a break into a new high. We have consistently put in lower highs. Consistently. Across the board. We tried to push into a new high here, and we failed. So yet again, there is no reason to be bullish here. Until this trend is broken, if you're using my trend trading technique, your overall target is the point of origin. Now, I'm not saying we're going to reach this point of origin because this is a very long-term trend, but your overall target for a trend break is your point of origin. And so far, what did I just say, like on the shorter time frame? You're going to continue to target that point of origin until you're invalidated. And you're not invalidated here. It's constant lower highs. Lower high, lower high, lower high. So until you see a higher high, until you see a break of this kind of downtrend here, you're targeting the point of origin. And I'm going to keep shorting until we get this point of origin, or until we see a break of this trend. But, like I just said before, this is like the same exact pattern that we're looking at on the shorter time frame. You have the range high that created the point of origin, and then you have the point of origin. So your two main supports is that range high and that point of origin. So you have the, what is that, like, that's about 9,000. And then you have the about, let's just put it there and say like 78. Those are your two main supports. Now, if we wanted to, we could take this on a lower time frame, and it's the same exact thing. So you have the point of origin. This one doesn't have a range, but you do have like a range high here. That's going to act as support. It's also going to act as resistance. Here, I can do this on a clean chart to make it easier for you guys to see. So like if we're looking at the 4-hour here, you have your point of origin, breaks into an uptrend. You have the break of the uptrend. And then your overall target is going to be that point of origin. Right? This doesn't have like a range high before the point of origin. You could take these levels here. Sorry, my nose is running. And these would become your support and resistance. So you guys know I like to use dojis. So you have like that doji system there, and then you have like this doji system here. And that becomes your kind of support and resistance before you get to your overall target. So you could go down to an even lower time frame and do the same exact thing. We have an uptrend. We have a break of an uptrend. Where do you target? You target that point of origin. So you can look at your previous support and resistance before that point of origin to give you kind of an outlook on where the resistance was before that support. So then you would take your range highs, and those would be your levels. So then you have that test of that level there. So if this does not invalidate the trend, so we have this trend right here, right? So you have a bounce of a support right here. So if this pops up and this doesn't invalidate, you're still targeting that point of origin. How does higher lows fit into your exit target? So higher lows are going to be the first sign that you're starting an invalidation. So like if this were to find support here and it bounced, this would be the first sign that you were approaching your invalidation. So if you're really worried, if this is like a lot of buy pressure, you could take profit here, but you would be taking profit pretty early. This looks like a bear div. So if I pull up the Momo, I bet this is a bear div. Because just by how the price action is acting, it looks like a bear div. Or sorry, not a bear div, a bull div. Let's go to a 5-minute. It's a very slight bull div. Very slight. But yeah, so like higher lows, higher highs, those would be your first sign that your invalidation is approaching. So like right here, this is a perfect example here. So you have your trend, right? So you have your trend, you start to put in a higher low, and then you pop up and fail the trend. So you started to invalidate, but then you failed. So same thing here for the uptrend. You see how we have our previous range high. We broke out upward. The reason that I wasn't scared and I didn't close my short is because look what we did. You have a doji here, a hanging man doji. Hanging man doji is very indicative of a top. So you have a hanging man doji. And then you have a gravestone. Lower high. See that? Hanging man, failure, gravestone, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. This is the problem that people don't understand. They get so caught up in like indicators or just I don't know, like there's so much stuff that they allow to convolute their trading that they don't pay attention to this basic market structure. And basic market structure is telling you that this is very bearish. You have an accumulation low break into a continuation move. I have this posted in Discord in my playbook. So this would be a continuation phase. You have an impulse down into an accumulation into a break. Same thing we saw here, impulse down into an accumulation into a break. Yeah, we see a lot of buyers coming in here, but I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it. So this is where it starts to get a lot of traders because you're giving up a lot of profit and it starts to scare you. So like I was up 1.8%. Now I'm only up 1%. So I've already given up almost half my profit. And this is where I make a lot of mistakes. I'm like, dude, I really don't want to give up that much money. I don't want to keep letting my money just bleed away. I should just take profit. But you have to just listen to the chart. And the chart doesn't say to take profit here. If anything, you could add on to your short on this next major bounce, basically. We're back. I'm gonna go take a piss. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. Need to get some cough drops or something. A lot of buyers coming in. Not really worried about it. Worst case scenario, you pop back up to like 10-3 and then start to fail back downward. I could have hedged long there, actually. That would have been a good idea. I keep forgetting on my high risk account that I need to trade both sides. My high risk account hasn't been making as much percentage per day that I was making not the month before. We made over 200%, but we were being very aggressive. I was trading basically every single move. Now I'm kind of picking my trades a lot better, and I'm also trading higher time frames. I didn't think 250% was going to be sustainable, so I calmed down a little bit on how many trades I was taking. Also being a little more passive. Like, for example, my old strategy, I would have probably longed this support, because I was basically taking every single support and resistance that I thought would bounce. I was trading both sides. So if I was in a short and I saw support, I started longing, and then vice versa. And it was working very well, because back when I was doing the strategy, it was during this range here. So basically just all of these bullshit moves, I was making trades on all the highs, all the lows. It worked out. We're doing pretty good though. Last month we closed over 20% on our high risk account. We're currently up about, I think about the same. Let me see. Now we're currently up about 11%, so we're getting there. How many days do we have left? We have about, yeah, we're only halfway through the month, so we're on track to do about the same this month as we did last month. Man, that pivot was a perfect bottom. You've already lost your 100 and your 200 EMA. You're approaching the 200 EMA now. You're also failing the trail. Big sell walls coming in here. Massive buys coming in. They're trying to retrace this low here. Probably going to try something like this towards the cloud. Pretty nice 1 hour candle. Three-hour and 4-hour trails giving good buys. Massive resistance up here on the 3-hour and 4-hour. Around 10.4. Most likely going to pull back, consolidate here. If the buyers are strong, they'll go for a second run. If they're weak, it's going to full retrace. I think people are getting a little too bullish here. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter switching bullish. I don't agree with it. I think they're going to get played. Looks like a bull trap to me. I wouldn't be bullish until 10.4 is broken. 10.4 is broken, they have a right to be bullish. Anything below 10.4, I'd be very wary about longing these bounces. Seems like people on crypto Twitter, as soon as you see big bounces like that or big failures, they immediately switch their bias. They need to understand how to follow trends. A lot of sell pressure coming in. What's going on, Rum? Sorry guys, I'm being a little quiet today. I need to start the TrendSpider video here in a little bit. Pretty tired, man, from the gym. Throat's hurting. End of the week, you know how it is. Too much talking. The bulls are going to try to pull back here and then buy it up. How you been, Rum? You still trading? Not yet. Do you trade anything? Do you trade stocks or anything? 2 weeks vacation, not touching this bullshit. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I've been adapting my strategy to this shit, and it's been working very, very well for me. You're a shitcoiner since 2014? I gotcha. Yeah, I use a completely different risk management system that I, compared to what I used to use, like a few months back. And my high risk account is slowly becoming my main account, basically. Like, I haven't taken a trade on my main account in a while, and I just keep feeding more money into my high risk account because my high risk strategy is working very well. You got to adapt to market conditions, right? Most real investors already got destroyed. Real back trading starts on the 23rd. Maybe that does something. Yeah, it's probably going to dump it if it is anything close to the CME. Like, the CME opened and it was like basically the top of Bitcoin. I'm cool with a little dump. Exactly. Pump it up so backed buyers pay big premium, then dump on them for easy profit. Expected more of a dump before this starts. So it might dump when it's going live. Yeah, I know. I agree, man. I think it's either going to like dump into it launching or it's going to dump on the launch. And then I think probably for maybe a few weeks, it's going to be consolidation, maybe a little bit more downside. But I think it's going to be a good buying opportunity in the long run. I think long run buying the dip will be the right play. The alts are dead? Yeah, 100%, man. I haven't traded alts in a long time. Not worth my time. BNB basically carrying my year from Q1. More video games than IRL shit for me. BNB I used to trade heavily, and then I just stopped when it started to die. Where's BNB? Let's take a look. Yeah, I got obliterated. Basically, once they started shutting down their US customers, they were donezo. Look at the volume. There's no volume, dude. You sold in April, May, pretty decent exit. Yeah, around here. Yep, not bad. This looks a lot like Bitcoin, where it like tried to go for a new high, and then got nuked, and then it went for a lower high and then died. Basically, higher high, nuke, and then lower high. See, Bitcoin kind of looks like that. Higher high, nuke, lower high, nuke. I'm stacking bags on Nex now, but I write it off since it's an emotional investment. What's a Nex? Is that a different exchange? Whoa, massive buyer came in there. Whoa, big buyer there. Was that 1 million? Was that 1 million or 10 million? That was 1 million. Okay. Tons of buyers coming in. Still not worried. Like I said, could pop up to 10-3. Hit this range low and then fail. This could have been a really nice trade, though, if I took this support bounce. Would have been a really nice trade. Non-custodial exchange, so users control the funds, makes it easier on KYC, because they aren't just administering access to market. Or they are just doing that. Not touching customer funds spawned by the Neo community. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. Still not buying alts. Yeah, man, I'm not touching them. Maybe in like a year or so. Man, I'm tired. This video is gonna be rough. Yeah, he's shilling to the 5 people in here. But alright, let's get started on the TrendSpider video. Because I gotta get off stream here in like 30 minutes. Let's get her started. Yeah, 100%, dude. More than most markets see today. You ain't lying, dude. Alright, let me go ahead and turn off the music. Let me go ahead and put this up. Make sure everything is situated. Why isn't it loading? There we go. I do like the whole alts are dead narrative, because the contrarian in me takes that is a big buying opportunity if you don't buy shit. But who knows? Maybe only Bitcoin and sidechains will rule. Yeah, the problem with the alts is a lot of them are probably not going to recover. But the ones that do recover are obviously going to run pretty heavily. So if you spread out your money and pick some good projects, you might get lucky, but it's pretty much gambling for the most part. Trying to think if I want to do the strategy tester first or I want to do the raindrops first. Probably doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. This is a little bug with TrendSpider that I can't really fix. Is once you tell it to show it on the chart, there's like no way to turn it off. Oh, it's drawings. It goes under drawings. Okay. So you can turn it off with that. Got it. Kind of weird. Alright, let's get started. Alright, if you guys are just coming in, this will be our final part of our TrendSpider walkthrough. In this walkthrough, I'm going to go over their raindrop candles, the anchored VWAP, and the strategy tester. I'm also going to talk about a little strategy that I created that's very simple with Bitcoin that I've been testing for the past few weeks on TrendSpider, and it's had very good results. But first things first, let's start off with the raindrop candles. So to turn on the raindrop candles, all you got to do is go over to the top left. You have your candlestick selection system here, and you want to pull up raindrop beta. So once you have these raindrops pulled up, you can select your time frame. So what the raindrop does is it has two different sides of the candle, obviously the first half and the second half. The first half is going to be half of whatever the time frame you have selected, and the second half is going to be the second half. So if you have, let's say, an hour, each candle is going to be 1 hour, but the first half of the candle is going to be 30 minutes, and the second half of the candle is going to be another 30 minutes. So what the raindrop does is it shows you how much volume was traded at each part of that candle. And then it gives you the VWAP of that side of the candle. The VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So it takes all the volume, all the prices that volume was traded at, and it gives you an average price for that data. So if it's a green raindrop, that means that the second half of the candle has a higher VWAP than the first half of the candle. If it's a red raindrop, that tells you that the second half of the candle has a lower VWAP than the first half. It also gives you the open of the candle. So the three lines are going to be your VWAP, and it's going to be your open. The blue raindrop is also called a raindrop doji. It's when the VWAPs are pretty much the same, or very close to being the same. So as you can see here, this one has a little difference on the left and the right, but it's close enough to be considered a doji. So those are going to be your blue raindrops, basically telling you that the market doesn't really have a bias towards the first half or the second half of that candle. So if you guys are familiar with volume profile, basically what the raindrop is it's a volume profile of each individual candle. So if you put this on, for example, a daily, you're going to have a decent amount of data to show you where that volume was traded during the day. So you have your first 12 hours and then your second 12 hours. And it shows you where the majority of that volume was traded during that daily candle. So if we look at today's candle, we can see that the majority of the volume for that first 12 hours was traded around 10,350. The second half of the candle, the majority of the volume is currently being traded around 10,275. So this gives you the red raindrop because the second half of the volume, the second half of the candle, has a lower VWAP. Now, some techniques that you can use with these raindrops are the anchored VWAP, and you can also use them to see where breakouts and breakdowns are most likely to occur. So for example, if we take a look at this raindrop here, what do we see? We see that it's a red raindrop, meaning that the majority of the volume is being traded towards the downside on the second half of the candle. It's lower than the first half. That gives you the red raindrop. And what we also see is the second half has a massive cluster of volume towards the low of that candle. So that tells you that when price was pushing lower, you saw a lot more volume, a lot more sellers come in towards that lower price range. That is very indicative of a breakdown to the downside, a break of support. So your next candle, you have a little bit of a bounce, not a whole lot of buying volume towards the upper side. The majority of the volume is still on the bottom side. And then you have a little bit of a push up towards the second half of the candle. But then once again on these next two raindrops, you see the majority of the volume towards that lower section. You don't see any volume coming towards that upper price range. So it shows you that the majority of sellers and buyers were transacting around that 11,350 range. And then you finally see your breakdown on the next raindrop, and once again, you have the majority of your volume being traded towards that lower raindrop. So it shows you that as price is moving downward, sellers are still liking that sell price. They are still thinking that that is a good sell price. So then you see that failure even lower, all the way down to 9.5. And then you finally see that reversal when you see that massive change in your VWAP from your first half of the day to your second half of the day. So you see that on the first half of the raindrop, your VWAP is around 98.90 or 98.80. And then the second half of the candle, you saw a strong recovery, and you see a lot of that volume towards that upper side of that candle, and it pushed your VWAP to around 10.2. So you saw a very strong bounce on that second half of the day, which led to an even stronger bounce on the next the days that came after that. So these candles are very strong to see where most of the buyers and sellers are transacting, and it's very good to see where breakdowns and breakouts are very likely to occur. It's also very easy to see where reversals are starting to occur, because you can start to see candles like these, or even candles like these, where you see that strong failure downward, but then you see that strong reversal with a lot of buyers towards that upper section. That's going to be very indicative of a reversal. Now, another technique that the TrendSpider team recommends is you can use anchored VWAPs on your blue dojis, your blue raindrops. So for example, if we see a blue raindrop here, we can right click this candle and we can create an Alpha Trends anchored VWAP on that doji. So now what do we see? We see a bounce up. Your VWAP is below price, acting as support. And then we see a failure downward, and it gives you that strong recovery. But then look where we fail. We fail right on that anchored VWAP. Then we come back down, we pop again, but then yet again, look where we fail. We fail right on that anchored VWAP. We fail again, pop up. This one pushes through the anchored VWAP a little bit. You have about $100 breakthrough, and then you're not able to maintain that price action. And then once again, like we said earlier, you can see that strong reversal using the raindrop candles. You see you have a lot of buyers come in towards the second half of this candle, but then that next raindrop opens and you see a heavy amount of sellers come in towards that second half. So you see you see the red raindrop, which gives you that lower VWAP, and you see a ton of sell volume towards the lower side of that red raindrop. So another technique that I like to use that is not tying the anchored VWAP to the dojis. If you guys are familiar with my stream or familiar with my trading strategy, I talk a lot about point of origin moves. So where did breakouts or failures occur, and where is the point of origin of that breakdown or that breakout? So for example, if we go to a daily here, if I pull up this anchored VWAP from this point of origin, it is a point of origin because you have a small support, an accumulation, and then you see a breakout to the upside. That massive impulse has a point of origin at the bottom. Where did that impulse originate? It originated from this 7,700 price range. So what I like to do is I like to grab a anchored VWAP from that point of origin. And look what we have here. We have a massive impulse up. We have a pullback to that anchored VWAP, almost perfect price action. Another bounce. You have a swing failure pattern here. So you break through it for one candle, and then you retrace on the next candle. This gives you a good buying opportunity. Then you see another bounce. You find support on that anchored VWAP, your last bounce before failure, and then look where you recover. You recover, resistance, resistance, fail, and then here is where you start to not respect it anymore. It becomes more of a middle of your range. So then you bounce, it acts as resistance again, almost a resistance there, and then another resistance here. So nearly every single major move that happened after this impulse could have been traded using this one anchored VWAP. So another anchored VWAP that you can take is the high candle. So I have that one right here. And you can see that the people who started trading from this high, your average price is going to be around 11,000. What that tells you is all of the traders that started to trade from that high candle, the average price that they are trading at is 11,000, and we are currently far below that. So the average trader, if they started to trade from that high, they are losing money. They are price is pretty heavily below their average price, so they are underwater. So if you see a support come in, they are going to try to protect their positions, and where they are most likely to drive the price is back towards that VWAP, which also almost lines up with the VWAP from the point of origin. So it gives you that 10.7 to 11,000 range as a major resistance. And that's where you can see where this candle found resistance and then failed downward. So that might be a little confusing. You guys might have to watch this video a few times to really understand what I'm talking about. But it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So you find point of origins that created impulses, and you can just take your point of support or point of resistance, and you can grab that anchored VWAP, and you can see where your trend starts to shift. So if you take the anchored VWAP from this low, you can see that you found support, and then you finally broke downward, and then it turned into a resistance. So until price gets back above this 10.6 anchored VWAP, your average trader is going to be underwater if they started trading from this low. Now you can create alerts on these lines just as you would with anything else on TrendSpider. So if you want to go ahead and right click on your anchored VWAP, you can create all the same alerts that you create with their other indicators. That's going to be it for the raindrops for now. I'm also going to talk about the strategy tester. Let's get started on that. So the strategy tester is very advanced. It took me a little while to get used to it, but go to the top, turn on your strategy tester here, and you have your entry conditions on your left, your exit conditions on your right. Right here it has what time frame you want this strategy to be run on. How long do you want this to be back tested? Do you want it to just do your current chart? Do you want to do a shallow test of 2,000 candles, a medium test of around 3,000, or a deep test of 7,000? So I typically do deep because the more data, the better. And then you can do, what do you want it to trade by? And you have a lot of different you have a lot of different choices here, but the standard is close. Now, the strategy part, I could talk about this for hours, obviously, because there's many different strategies, but it's really going to be what indicators you like to trade with, and what time frames you like to trade with. So it's all going to be based on kind of what kind of strategy do you want to build for your trading. And I can go over kind of a strategy that I created for Bitcoin that is very simple. If you guys watched my last video, I told you guys that TrendSpider does not have Ichimoku currently. So if you're an Ichimoku trader, TrendSpider does not offer Ichimoku at the current time. But you can kind of build your own makeshift Ichimoku by using their midpoint indicator. So what I went ahead and did is I built a strategy using the 15-minute chart. It looks for a bullish TK cross. So it's going to look for, let me pull up the 15-minute here. It's going to look for when this blue line crosses the teal line to the upside when it's above the 100 EMA. So very simple. You look for a cross above the 100 EMA, and that is your entry condition. And then you just take profit when you see the blue line cross downward from the teal line. So this is your TK. This is your conversion line and your baseline. So if you're familiar with the Ichimoku, this strategy is nothing but a TK cross above the 100 EMA. So I'm going to go over how to build this. So let me go ahead and delete these, and we'll build this from scratch. So go ahead and click Add Parameter, and then you're going to do Condition. You're going to look for Indicator, and then you're going to pull up whichever indicator it is that you want to start the strategy with. My indicator is midpoint over period 9. And then we do cross up, indicator 26. Okay. And then we also want to go ahead and add condition, indicator. And then we have my EMA here. Exponential moving average 100. And then we do less than price, close. Because that's going to tell us when the EMA is below price. So as long as the EMA is below price and we see a bullish TK cross, that is going to be our entry. So what you can do with the strategy tester is you can create a few different parameters, and then you can select any of the following, and that will mean you're going to enter whenever one of those conditions is met. So for example, if I wanted to do, let's say, condition, indicator, 9, crossing up, indicator, and then the EMA 100, what I could do is, let's get rid of this one for now, and I could do any of the following. So it's going to enter, these are my entry conditions, it's going to enter when either this happens or this happens. And then we can go over to my exit, and let's say I want to exit when condition, indicator, 9, crossing down, indicator, 26. That's going to be my exit. So we can go ahead and test this. I have actually not tested this before, so this is going to be a surprise to me. Let's take a look at it. So basically, anytime the 9 crosses above the 26, or the 9 crosses above the 100 EMA, it's going to enter. So this is actually not a bad strategy. So it's actually up 32%. So this, oh, actually, let me go over this real fast. So this performance chart, the blue section is going to be how your strategy is performing. So this is your percentage return on investment or return on equity. This line here is going to be how the overall asset that you're looking at performed. So basically like a buy and hold strategy. So if you bought and hold, you'd be down 4% on the past 6,000 candles. But if you did the strategy, you'd be up 32%. So a really cool feature of this performance chart, you can click on all these things down here at the bottom. So let's turn off the strategy. This is going to give you your buy and hold strategy. So what you can do is you can click on positions, and it's going to highlight when your strategy was in a trade. So where did you enter, and then where did you exit? So if we turn this off, we can see kind of this is where it was in a trade. The entire time it's highlighted, that is when our system is in a trade. So if we bring this back up, this is the overall buy and hold. This is when it's in a trade, and the non-shaded is when you're not in a trade. So this is actually a good strategy because this is only a long strategy. There is no short. So we don't want to see a lot of highlight when we're on a downtrend. And we currently don't see that. We only see a lot of highlight when it's on an uptrend. You see a little bit on the downtrend here and there, but not the entire way down. So let's go back to my actual strategy. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to add parameter, condition, price. Or excuse me, let's do condition, indicator, EMA, less than, price, close. And we're going to go ahead and run this. So this is actually performing a little worse. This is at 13%. I think I actually... Let me see. I think I messed this up because this is not right. It should be up about 30%. What did I do here? I did parameter, condition. I'm going to cut this out of the video, obviously, if you guys are watching on Twitch. I'm going to cut this out of the YouTube video. I should have taken a screenshot of this. I think what I did was I took price, close, greater than, indicator, EMA 100. Oh, it was on any of the following. That was why. I forgot to change this to all of the following. Okay. Up 30%. Okay, so that's it there. I forgot to change it to all of the following. All right, so let's get back started on the video. So I'm going to go back to our previous strategy here. Make sure you click this back to all of the following, not any of the following. And then we are using a 15-minute price close greater than the 100 EMA with the 15-minute midpoint 9 crossing over the midpoint 26. And as we can see here, the strategy is performing very well compared towards the buy and hold. Buy and hold's down 4%. The overall strategy is up 30%. Very simple. We had little to no drawdown. We only had one drawdown period. Besides that, we were positive the entire way. Now, another thing you can use here on the price behavior, this is a little confusing at first glance, but if you go down here, you can look at how many positions are taken and what is the average number of candles that that position holds on to before it closes. So let me close everything else. So as we can see here, we took 72 positions. The majority of the positions did not run for more than, let's say, 35 candles. You can see how it took a pretty strong drop here after 35 candles. The majority of these positions were in less than 35. And you can see most of them were closed within probably about 15. You can see a drastic drop from that first candle all the way towards that 35th candle. That just means that this strategy does not hold on to the trade for more than 35 candles on average. Now what we can do besides that, we can look at the mean change percentage. How much did the asset, for right now we're looking at Bitcoin, how much did that asset change when you're looking at holding on for longer periods of time? So as you can see, the more candles you hold, the higher the mean change percentage gets. Until you get to about 117 candles, then it gets a little volatile here. So this is probably just a little an outlier where we wouldn't use this in our actual data set. The overall data is showing that on average, the mean change percentage is about 1%. You have little dips to about 0.6. You got little rises to about 1.3, 1.4. But on average, you're probably about 1%. So that means that the majority of the moves while you're in a trade are about 1%. You can look at the median change, which is going to be about the same. This is a random control, so just a random strategy. Number of positions we already went over. This gives you a percentile of your strategy. So as you can see, the upper range is going to be a bigger percentage move. The lower range is going to be a negative percentage move. But overall, you don't need this very much in your strategy testing. For the most part, what you really want to be paying attention to is the number of positions, how long on average you're in a trade, and then you really want to be paying attention to your percentage return on investment, and is it doing what you want it to do? So for example, this strategy is a trending bullish strategy. So I want this to be highlighted when it's trending upward. I do not want this to be highlighted when it's trending downward. So this is doing what I want it to do. So when you're building strategies, you really want to pay attention to how much you're receiving on your return, and is it trading where it should be trading? And then you want to see, on average, how long should I hold on to this trade in this strategy before it really starts to not be worth holding on to anymore. Now, another few things you can do with the strategy tester. You can show these trades on your chart. So as long as you're on, obviously, a time frame that you would be on when you're trading the strategy, it's going to highlight when it takes these trades. So there are no current trades on the chart for right now. We almost got a bullish strategy right here, but we did not see that TK cross when it was above the 100. That TK crossed, I think, on this candle, so it didn't register that as a bullish strategy. Actually, no, it is showing it. I didn't have it turned on. So if you hit see on chart, you can see your trades on your chart as long as you're on a chart that is the same time frame as your strategy would be traded on. And as we can see here, it entered here and it exited here for 2.5 or 2.15% gain. And then we had a false entry here, which ended up closing for a small loss of 0.3%. So as you can see, the wins are much bigger than the losses. That's why the strategy does so well. Now, another thing you want to look at here for the strategy tester is how many positions did you trade? And what is your average gain or loss for each individual trade? So we traded 72 times over the span of 2 months. And for each individual trade, we average about a 0.4% gain per trade. That's actually not that bad. For 72 trades over the past 2 months, that's almost a trade a day. And when you're averaging about 0.4% a day, that's actually very good. Now, keep in mind that this strategy is a buy-only strategy. You are not shorting on this strategy. You could flip this strategy to do a short. So you could put entry and then do the midpoint crossing down. And you want to see price less than the 100 EMA. And then you would just flip this so the midpoint would be crossing up to close your trade. And that would give you the short strategy. Now, finally, the last thing that you can do with the strategy tester is you can have it alert you whenever this strategy would enter or exit. So if I wanted to be alerted, you would do the alert on the entry side. So I'd go ahead and create the alert. Now it's going to alert me when it's entering, and I'm going to go ahead and create the alert for when it's exiting. So these are going to go to your alert list. You have the entry, and you have the exit. So now the next time this takes a trade, I will be alerted, and when it closes a trade, I will be alerted. So that's going to be it for the strategy tester and Raindrop walkthrough. Now, obviously, the strategy tester is a lot more advanced. So if you guys want to learn more about the strategy tester, be sure to sign up to our webinar that I will be doing with the TrendSpider team on September 16th, which is this Monday. We will be going over basically what I went over in this video in a little bit more depth, and we'll also be able to hear from the TrendSpider team about their plans for the Raindrop candles and the strategy tester moving forward. So that's going to be on Monday, September the 16th. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys would like to sign up, go to the description down below and sign up to that. If you guys would like to sign up to TrendSpider, feel free to use my discount code in the top left, DJBT15, for 15% off your subscription. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will be releasing more videos in the future with TrendSpider and other teaching videos. So I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. If you guys are on stream, I'm going to be hanging out for probably about 5 or 10 more minutes. A lot of that you guys just watched live is going to be cut up. I made a lot of mistakes during that video. Those mistakes are going to be cut out of the video, and then I'll be posting the highlighted version on YouTube, obviously. You guys get to see like the behind the scenes of me making these videos. So let's go back to our other chart here. That video was a little sloppier than normal, but I think it was okay. So it's doing what I was talking about earlier. It's retracing to this 10-3. If it starts to fail 10-3, I'm probably going to add on to my short. I've been having fun with the strategy I have been coding from scratch. Nice, man. Are you messing with the TrendSpider strategy tester? Man, my throat is killing me. I've already drank like 60 ounces of water today and my throat's still sore. Are you doing TradeStation? Nice. Yeah, I've never messed with a TradeStation. That would have been a really good buy, man. I need to start focusing on my high risk strategy because my strategy does typically buy these bounces here. Would be up 1.3%. Would have been a really good hedge. It's all good though. But alright guys, I'm gonna call it on that. It's really hard for me to talk right now. My throat's pretty sore. Appreciate you guys watching, man. I appreciate you guys being here for like the live version of my walkthrough. As I said, you guys get kind of the behind the scenes. I messed up a lot in that video. I'm gonna clean it all up, cut out the pieces that I messed up, and then you guys are gonna have the clean version on YouTube probably by the end of today or the tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on my YouTube. It should be released within 24 hours. But I don't stream on the weekends, as you guys know, so I won't see you guys until Monday. But I appreciate you guys being around. If you guys like the content, if you're new here, hit that follow button. I do stream 5 days a week. I will be back on Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Or actually, sorry, I will not be streaming Monday because we're doing the webinar Monday. So if you guys want to learn more about TrendSpider, if you guys want to come hang out with me and the TrendSpider team, sign up for that webinar. Here, let me send you guys a link. It's a free webinar. We're going to be going over basically what I just went over, but more in depth. And you're going to be able to hear from the team themselves. So if you guys want to hang out with me on Monday, make sure you sign up for that, and I will see you guys then. But back on Tuesday, and then through the rest of the week, we will be streaming our normal time, 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys, you guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys Monday. Peace out.